Hello guys and welcome back to another Sonic tutorial. This is the third video of the Pokemon series working with object-oriented programming, and we've seen a lot of interesting concepts so far, but right now we are not going to see any new concept. We are just going to implement the attack method on our Pokemon so they can properly fight, right? This is going to be a quick tutorial, I hope, and so we can implement this attack method, develop some kind of random algorithm. And in the next tutorial, we are going to create a Pokemon factory to instance our Pokemons. And after that, we are going to create a Pokemon fight staging or something like that. So we can put two Pokemons into a proper fight. So back to action. If you remember from our previous classes, we have created the attack method as an abstract method from the Pokemon class. Because every Pokemon has the ability to attack another Pokemon, but each Pokemon has a different way of attacking. So that's one of the reasons this attack method is abstract. So if you guys played a lot of Pokemon or some RPG games, I don't know. I'm personally not a big fan of RPG games. I usually play FPS, but the damage done to another player, to another object, is usually calculated using some kind of algorithm plus a random number. So I mean, there are a lot of elements that must be that are important in order to calculate the damage an attack is doing. But right now we are going to create a simple algorithm to calculate how much damage an attack is going to do. And in order to do that, we're going to need to create a couple of methods. So here in my Pokemon class, since the algorithm I'm going to create to calculate the damage is going to be the same code for every Pokemon, I'm going to create the method in the Pokemon class. So not on Pikachu, neither Charizard. This code is going to go into our LCL Pokemon class. But if, for example, you create a new Pokemon and the way to calculate its damage is different, all you have to do is redefine this method I'm going to create right here. So I'm going to create a method, a protected method, called calculate attack damage. And this method is going to return damage value, an integer, right? So far that's simple. Let's implement this method. Calculate attack damage. So there are a couple of functions in the ABAP universe that can help us out right here. I've been using kf05 random integer. So you can pass some like minimum and maximum numbers right here. I think 1 and 100 are good enough, so I'm not going to pass that since they are that by default. This is the random integer the function is going to return me, so I'm going to set that to my parameter damage. And just to spice things a little bit, I'm going to use the level, the Pokemon level, as a multiplier for the damage. So damage equals damage plus damage level. So multiplied by level. What we're doing here, the highest the Pokemon level, the highest the damage is going to be. So, for example, I mean, the math here is pretty simple. I'm pretty sure that real games, use a very complex algorithms to calculate damage. It's like, you have all those effective attacks, water against fire, and so on. But we're not gonna. That's not our point. So this function is going to give us a random number, and we're going to multiply that by the Pokemon's level, and that's going to be the damage that our Pokemon is going to do. Now, let's think. the attack method right here, it used to be abstract, right? So, but I told you that the way we are going to calculate and apply the damage from one Pokemon to another is going to be pretty much the same thing from our Pokemon. So we are going to create an implementation of the attack method in the Pokemon class itself, right? So we don't have to duplicate our codes into our Pikachu and Charizard class. Now the attack method, let's implement that right here in the Pokemon class. We receive a target Pokemon. I'm going to change the parameter name here to target Pokemon. It's more precise, right? So the first thing we need to do is to calculate the attack damage. This method is going to give us a random integer based on the Pokemon level. But I could do something like a set health method right here to work with the health attribute, but I don't like that. I personally don't like. I don't want a class. I don't want an instance of a class to directly change an attribute of another instance. So for example, let's say Pikachu is attacking Charizard. I don't want the Pikachu instance to directly change Charizard attributes, right? We want to encapsulate that in a new method. So that's one of the reasons these attributes are protected. So an action. So if every Pokemon has an attack method, and every Pokemon has a take damage method. Yeah, that's importing the damage taken. Now you're talking. And well, if one Pokemon is attacking, the other one is taking that attack damage. So we're going to create a take damage method right here in our Pokemon class, right before the attack method. And what is going to happen here? Yes. Well, if I am taking damage, the math is pretty simple. Just subtract the damage taken from my health. You could use some setters and getters here to your health attributes. You should, but I'm not gonna do that right now. And I mean, this pretty much sums up the take damage purpose, but you have to think ahead. You have to think about the future. In the future, I'm going to want to know when a Pokemon dies. And what is the condition to tell whether the Pokemon is dead or not? Is when your health goes below or equals 0, right? So we're going to create an event. We're going to create a public event called died, right? So we're going to raise that event every time a Pokemon gets its health below or equals 0. So if my health after taking the damage is below or equals 0, raise event died. This way, when we create our Pokemon Stadium where two Pokemon will be able to fight, our stadium is going to be able to hear to those events and tell which Pokemon won the fight, and which Pokemon died during the fight. So this is a very interesting way of working. This is a very simple example on how to work with events. You can pass parameters on events. For example, what Pokemon killed me, and what damage I took. But we're not going to use that right now. Just knowing that a Pokemon died is enough for us. So now we're gonna go back to the attack method, right? And this is going to be interesting. Now, if I am attacking a target Pokemon, right? So my target Pokemon is going to take damage. What kind of damage? That random damage. We have just created a method for calculate attack damage. So this is very interesting. I'm gonna open. Hold on. I'm going to open my diagrams program right here so I can show you guys a couple of things. Okay, so we have Pikachu instance and we have Charizard instance. These are both instances in the heap section of memory. They all have the same methods. They all belong basically to the same abstract class, which is Pokemon, LCL Pokemon, but they are two different instances. So when I call, let's see, when I call the attack method of Pokemon given Charizard as a target, what is going to happen is he's going to execute the attack method. So Pokemon is executing the attack method and the target Pokemon is Charizard instance. So now we have to think. The calculate attack damage is going to be executed in the Pikachu instance, right? So the attack damage is going to be based on Pikachu level, not Charizard. But the instance that is actually taking the damage is the Charizard, is the target Pokemon. So when this piece of code here will be executed, we're going to be talking about the Charizard instance and not Pikachu instance anymore. I know that sounds a little bit confusing, but when we finish this code, I'm going to run that on the debugger, and we're going to be able to understand that easier. So let's see. That sounds pretty much like it, you know. Oh, I forgot something. I almost forgot something. Now, since we have redefined the attack method on Pikachu and Charizard, after writing the kind of attack we need to call the super. Now, I don't know if you remember the super, if you know it, but let me open here. We have the attack method from LCL Pokemon, right? And we have redefined this attack method on Pikachu and Charizard classes, as you can see right here. So what is the super? The super is your super class. So if I redefined the attack method, I have two options. One, I can completely ignore the fact that there is a super method implemented above me by doing so, completely ignoring the standard code for attack, or I can consider the super method and do something else. In this case, I'm writing Thunderbolt and calling the super method. What is a super method? This is the super method, the method implemented in your super class. So if Pikachu super class is Pokemon, every time I call a super method the super means LCL Pokemon. That's the idea, right? So I'm gonna do the same thing here to Charizard, super attack target Pokemon. Yeah, so I think that's it. I'm not sure. I'm gonna create two direct Pokemons right here. I'm gonna create Pikachu, type reference to LCL Pikachu, and a Charizard. You know, in our next tutorial, we're going to create a Pokemon factory, so we don't have to do this manually all the time. So I'm gonna create my object Pikachu. His health is gonna be 100 and his level is gonna be 1. And then I'm also going to create Charizard. His health is going to be 120 and his level is going to be 2. So what I'm doing here, I'm asking Pikachu to attack Charizard, and then I'm going to ask Charizard to attack Pikachu, and we're gonna see what happens. We are not working with the died event right now. This is just a couple of methods called, so we can understand the idea of the attack method, right? So let's set a breakpoint and let's run this piece of code. Okay, so we have, let's see, we have two instances right now. We have instance number 4 and instance number 5, right? We have a LCL Pikachu instance and a Charizard instance. So I'm asking Pikachu to attack Charizard. Let's see what happens. F5. As you can see, the first code that is run is the redefinition of the attack method in the Pikachu class. So it's going to write Thunderbolt on screen, right? And after that, that's going to call the super attack method. So I'm just going to write this piece of variable here on a variable watcher. We can see me represents the current instance, right? So this attack method is being run in the Pikachu instance. Okay, this is going to be very important for you guys to understand. So, okay, let's press F5. The code is going to the attack method from the Pokemon. Me is still Pikachu. So we are currently working on the Pikachu instance so far. So what is going to happen here? First, he's going to calculate how much damage my attack, Pikachu's attack, is going to do. So let's press F5. This is going to generate a random number like 70. It's going to multiply by Pikachu level, which is 1. So damage done from this attack is going to be 70. So now we go back to the attack method, and now is when things change. Right now, me represents Pikachu, but I'm telling you that I'm not telling you that Pikachu is taking the damage. I'm telling you that Charizard is taking the damage. See, so we're gonna call the take damage method from the Charizard instance. So I'm gonna press F5, right? And now, if you notice, the me instance, the me variable now represents Charizard. We are not talking about Pikachu anymore. So the health attribute represents the health from Charizard and not the health from Pikachu. Pikachu has 100 health and Charizard has 120. So I'm going to subtract that from my health. So now Charizard has 50 health. And, I'm not dead yet, so we're not raising any kind of event. Now you're back to Pikachu, and the attack method is done. As you can see, the health attribute is back to 100. Why? Because we are talking about Pikachu's health and not Charizard. Yeah, this might sound confusing at first. So, oh shit, sorry. Let's see here. I have Pikachu health and Charizard health. As you can see, Charizard has taken 70 damage. Right, so we're gonna go back to our main program. Now, we're gonna do the opposite way. Now, Charizard is going to attack Pikachu, and be aware that Charizard has level 2, so the damage done will probably be higher. Let's see what happens. So this is going to the attack redefinition of Charizard, where it will write Fireball on screen, and it will call the super attack method. Now, let's go back here. Now, me represents Charizard because Charizard is attacking, and the calculate attack damage method is going to be called in the Charizard instance. So let's press F5. This is going to generate as a random number again, 37, but this time, since Charizard is level 2, the damage is going to be multiplied by 2. So the damage done is going to be 74. Now we go back to the attack method. It's still on Charizard, and I'm asking Charizard to attack our target Pokemon being Pikachu instance. So let's press F5, and as you can see here, the health is 100. It's Pikachu health. We're gonna subtract the attack damage. Pikachu health is dropping to 26. It's still not dead, and as you can see here, the me instance now represents Pikachu. Right, that's why the health is 26. Now, pay attention to what is gonna happen right now. I'm going to press F5, and we're gonna go back to Charizard. So we are right now currently working on the Pikachu instance. I'm pressing F5. And we are back to Charizard, and this represents Charizard's health, not Pikachu. So this is the idea of working with different instances, you know. You have like two different words interacting with each other. Now, if we go back to your program, you can see that Pikachu health is 26 and Charizard health is 50. So, I mean, our attack method worked, you know, and it's very encapsulated. I'm gonna run this again just so we can watch the event method being called. So Charizard is going to attack Pikachu again, and most likely Pikachu is going to die. Let's calculate the damage. The damage is going to be 76 again. Not that random actually. And Pikachu is going to take that damage, right? So Pikachu health was 26. I'm going to subtract that, and it's going to minus 50. So what happened to Pikachu? Pikachu died. Oh, poor little guy. Raise event, died. Well, nothing's going to happen. Why? Because we don't have listeners. You know, no one is listening to this died event. But the idea is, for me, it doesn't matter who is listening as far as I'm raising the event in the proper time, you know. So for this tutorial, we did the job of implementing the attack, of successfully implementing the attack method of both our Pokemons, right? So in the next tutorial, we are going to be creating a factory, which is a design pattern for instancing, dynamically instancing objects. And after that, we're going to create our Pokemon Stadium, where we can put these babies to the test and make them fight each other with, you know, graphic user interface. And, you know, the stadium is going to be listening to the Pokemon events to know which one of them died first and so on. But for now, this is it. And well, thanks for watching, and keep tuned for our next tutorial. Bye bye.